We started this as a program to really talk to students about ways that, not necessarily to change all of the things that you're eating, but to elevate what you're eating to kind of a next level as far as nutritionally. So really thinking about if you're gonna eat ramen noodles, we know that, but let's think of some ways that we can add to it so we can make it more than one meal, bump the protein up, add some more vegetables into it, and create some better meals and meals that you can extend a little bit. So tonight's topic is cook once and then eat twice or more. So we're going to show you a few different ways that you can make these different recipes using some of the same ingredients, but make them just a little bit different and something that you can make ahead of time and then have for 4 days. So I am always the food safety girl, so hence the master food preservation and always talking to people about safe ways to do that. So I'm going to start you out with some knife skills, and then we're going to talk about food safety, and then I'm going to hand it over to Kendron. So I'm going to start with knife skills, and with that, the first thing I'm going to talk about is your cutting board. So you will notice, I don't know if you guys can see this, you probably can't because it's white, but I put a wet paper towel under my cutting board. It's kind of a safety thing. And I started doing this a long time ago in culinary school, and it's something that if you push this, it's not going to just slide like it normally would. So it kind of gives it just a little bit of grip. So just a little safety thing that I always do. And the next thing is knife safety. So I have, as someone who loves to cook, I have a ton of knives at home. But we were talking about last night, and I want to talk to you guys about this as well. The different types that I have are not necessarily that you have to have something expensive. So this is a more expensive knife. This knife cost me about $6. I actually use this one a lot. It's one of my favorites. And the reason is the main thing that you're looking for is balance in a knife. You're looking for something that fits well in your hand. So, you know, one of the things they tell you in culinary school is the first thing you need is a 10-inch knife. Well, a 10-inch knife for me is really long and really awkward because I have small hands. So I usually go with an 8-inch knife. I find it easier to hold. And just for safety's sake, I find this to be the best way for me to hold a knife. So I put a finger here. That gives me control, and it kind of keeps my knife really stable. The other way you can do it is always hold the middle. So no matter what, even if you're putting your finger here or you're putting your finger here, you want to hold the middle of your knife. That's where it's best balanced. And you want to look for something that's very sharp and something that, like I said, very balanced. So sharp is something that is kind of a concept that seems opposite to what it should be. People think if my knife is dull, then I'm not going to cut myself. That is the opposite of true. So what you actually want to have is always keep your knives very sharp. The reason for that is a dull knife will slide off of things, and you're more apt to cut yourself with them. If you have a really sharp knife, it's just going to slide right through whatever you're trying to cook. So always try to keep your knife sharp. We generally have the ability to at least put you in touch with someone who can sharpen your knives if you ever find like they're really dull. Linda, what do? I want to make sure that I'm, you know, keeping safe. You can always give our office a call, and I'll talk about how to get in touch with us in just a moment. But you can give us a call, and if we don't have the ability to sharpen it, we will put you in touch with someone who can, so that we can make sure that we keep everything safe. And then the next thing we want to talk about is food safety. I did put a pretty extensive fact sheet in there that really focuses on food safety in college dorms, but I want to go over that quickly, so I might not hit on every single point in there, but a couple of really important points. And I think we've all in our life been guilty of this, but it's something that really can actually lead to some stomach problems and make you sick. So we want to make sure that any time we have food out on the counter, we kind of call it the temperature danger zone. So anything within the temperature danger zone, which is anything above 40 degrees or below 140 degrees, is where beyond 4 hours, you potentially really start to build up bacteria in that food. And that's where you can get sick. So if you get pizza one night and then you forget, you leave it out overnight on the counter, what is it? It's garbage. It's not breakfast. So breakfast is if you put it in the refrigerator now, you can have pizza for breakfast. But if you left it out on the counter, unfortunately, it is garbage at that point because you don't want to risk getting sick. A lot of times people will say right after Thanksgiving, oh, you know, the next day they're like, oh, my stomach really hurts. I ate too much yesterday. But that's not really how your body works. If your stomach still hurts the next day, it's probably from some degree of food poisoning or something that you ate, not because you ate too much. So we just want to be really safe when it comes to eating food. And you may have seen in the news recently, there was at least one incident of someone who actually got really sick and passed away because they kept eating food that they left out on the counter for several days. And so we just want to make sure that you guys know, don't do that. Make sure 4 hours is your total over any time that it's out. So it doesn't start over. So if you have it out for 2 hours today, tomorrow think of, I can only have this out for 2 hours, or whatever time period. It doesn't start over the next day. Questions we had last night that I wanted to address: if you put it in the microwave and get it really hot, it does not kill the bacteria. The bacteria is still there. If you put it on the stovetop and you boil it, it's still there. That actually will not kill the bacteria. So just being really careful about those things. And then throughout tonight, we're going to teach you some little tips that'll actually bring smoke points down on oils and things like that, so that we can keep from setting the fire alarms off and potentially starting fires in your kitchen. You see our little herb garden over here. So my goal is for you to have an herb garden like this in your dorm room or wherever you would like to have it. So in front of you, you have a little red box that has all of the things that you need to create your own little kitchen herb garden. It includes instructions on how to start them from seeds. You've got 3 different types of seeds, and then you have the soil and everything. So there's one tiny little string attached, and all I want out of that is I'd love to hear how it's going for you. When you start to plant them and how your plants are going, I just like to hear how it's going. If you can send me some pictures, or if you want to just shoot me an email. I've also put one of my cards in there. The phone number that's on there is actually the phone number to our office, so you could get in touch with either me or Kendron if you have ever had a question for either one of us about a recipe, about a plant, about just about anything related to what we talked to you about. So keep that handy. You'll be able to use that anytime. And like I said, just kind of let me know how your herb garden's going. And as we go through this series, we're also going to use some of the herbs that we put in there. So it depends on which box you got, but they have cilantro, parsley, basil in some of them, and sage. So and if you look at one of those and you've got, I know there are people who just cannot stand cilantro. If you're one of those people and you got cilantro in yours, you can always give me a call and say, hey, Belinda, I don't really like cilantro. I would like something else. We have a seed library. So anytime you want to try to grow something, whether it's a vegetable seed or a flower seed, you also can give me a call, and we can make sure that you get seeds so that you can do that. We have tons of pots and soil and everything that you need, and we want to encourage people to grow things, especially grow your own food. So anytime we can do that, we will. For the rest of this series, so we already talked about tonight, is prep once, cook once, and then eat more than one time. But in October, we're going to have meal in a mug. So we're going to do lots of different things at night. We'll do some breakfast. We'll do some dinner options. We'll do some dessert options. So all kinds of things that you can do very quickly in a microwave in 5 minutes or less. So we're looking for quick meals there, things that you can, you're in a rush, you just want something, or it's late at night, you're hungry, and you just want to get something really quick. In November, we're going to do a Friendsgiving. So there's only one session of that one, so sign up quick. That one's going to be Friendsgiving. We don't have the menu for that yet, but we're going to kind of talk to you guys throughout this process and see what kind of stuff you like and what you would like to see for us to make. So if you have something you would like to learn how to make, let us know, and we'll see if we can add that in. And then our last session is going to be pizza night. So we're going to do all kinds of pizzas: breakfast, dinner, dessert. And we're going to try to do some fun stuff there. So we're going to put out a challenge to you guys, and we'll give you all of the rules to do that. And you can either do it as an individual challenge or a group challenge. So look for that, and we'll give you all the rules, and then we'll talk that night about how you did. And hopefully by the end, we'll have some things to give away. Each time that you come here, we'll have some sort of giveaway. So we're not going to tell you what it is because we want you to come. So. But we'll have something to give away every time, and we hope to see you throughout the series. But even if you can only come to one or two, listen, we're going to be here. And the whole point in this is we want it to be fun. We want you to learn some skills, particularly safety skills, some different recipes, but we want this to be fun. Cooking should always be something that's fun and something that you enjoy doing. And if you're not enjoying it, then we want to find some ways that you can. So.
One thing, we're about to start, okay? But the one thing that I noticed you always talking about is just your time management. And one of the things, especially when it comes to food, is food prep. And what we're about to show you is a good type of food prep for mornings. And we're about to show you, they call overnight oats. Overnight oats. So with the overnight oats, it's like a night prep. and then you have it in the morning, like a good grab and go, so something that you could take with you. And like I said, it's to take that pressure off of you, to have that plan, to have something so you're not waking up and like, okay, what I gotta eat, what I gotta do. Because I know your morning, like you said, you're already stressed. Let's try to take some of that stress off of you by planning your meals, because meals are important. Making sure you eat is important. You know, your body can't go without fuel in it. So make sure you try to plan your meals, because that's very important. Make sure you drink your water, whatever you need to do, and have that meal prep. So after I'm off my parent soapbox, what we're about to do, Belinda is gracious enough to show you. She's going to chop up some things later, just to show you how to chop up some walnuts and some dried cranberries. But I'm going to show you how we set this up. You're going to take some of these home. I just left 4 open to show you how it's made. Belinda was nice enough to buy these things, so you get to keep them, so you can make them. You could do it for yourself the next day. With overnight oats, like I said, different recipes, different things. What we did here was more of an apple pie type of thing. So it's more for the season, so it's apple pie, it's applesauce, walnuts, cranberries. But you can do other things. One of the things we were talking about yesterday was s'mores. So you can put chocolate chips. It's not as healthy as this, but you can put chocolate chips in. And marshmallows to have a s'mores taste to it. You could, different things. You can change different things. You could do pumpkin probably. You get some pumpkin spice, I guess, and mix it up. So it's always, it kind of goes to what you wanted to make it. But so let's start with this. So I'm going to,
Yeah, I'm going to talk about a couple quick things on it. So we've used regular milk in this, and we used regular steel-cut oats you can use. You can also use old-fashioned oats. I don't recommend quick-cooking oats, and the reason for that is they're usually full of sugar, but also these just tend to work better. So I usually go with those, but there are some options if you're looking for something that doesn't have oats. You can also use hemp seeds, chia seeds, flax seeds. That will give you that same texture as oats, but you're not using oats, so it's a little bit lower carb. If you want to bump up the protein in it, often I will use a protein drink, either a pre-made or I'll add a scoop of protein powder and a little bit of extra liquid. That gives you a higher protein carb ratio in there, and it keeps you full a little bit longer as well. If you are lactose intolerant, we actually have had that question before, you can use any kind of milk in here. So it can be almond milk, oat milk, soy milk, whatever you normally would use. You're really just looking for a liquid in there, and that's what's going to soak into the oats. So in it, whatever works for you. You can play with a lot of the combinations in it. Sometimes I'll use a cafe latte protein drink in it, and then I'll add a little scoop of cocoa powder. So now you've got something that's kind of like a mocha coffee flavor. You can add, like you said, you can add chocolate and different kinds of nuts in it. It's really up to your imagination. Whatever you want to put in there as your add-ins. You kind of want to keep it low sugar when you can, but it kind of lends itself to a lot of different combinations. So this one we put the oats, cinnamon, cloves, ginger, and then we've added in the walnuts and the cranberries. So I'm going to show you how we chopped those up. You can buy your walnuts chopped, so they're a little more expensive that way. When you go with whole walnuts, you can save a little bit on that. So we're going to talk a little bit about budgeting here in a few minutes as well. So this allows you to save a little bit of money. The cranberries, I chop them up because I can use a little bit fewer cranberries per walnuts in there. They're just a little bit easier to eat. I get the sugar in this recipe. We used unsweetened applesauce. The sugar in this recipe is really more from the cranberries. And you'll notice when I'm cutting these, again, I have my finger up here. I keep this hand up here, and that just gives me control over it. So I just kind of go back and forth, chopping them up. There's no rhyme or reason to this. It doesn't have to be perfect. Listen, you're not trying to make this picture perfect for a magazine. You're trying to make it edible for yourself, right? So don't worry if it doesn't look perfect and it's not all the same size. You're just looking for a little bit smaller size in your walnuts. So I'm just going to kind of run my knife through this a little bit, back and forth. And then we put them, we just kind of sprinkle them in your overnight oats. If you have extra walnuts and cranberries, save them. You can add them with some chocolate chips and maybe some other nuts, and they're a nice little snack to take along with you. So put them in a little baggie, take it along with you, and if you're really hungry, keep it in your backpack.
So,
want these.
all right, as you noticed, when she was chopping it up, I was putting oats in here. These oats are I already seasoned them. I seasoned them with, you'll have the amounts in your card. I seasoned them with ginger, cloves, and cinnamon. And of course, you do it to your taste and to what you like and to your taste. Some people don't like cinnamon, some people don't like cloves. So you make sure it's perfect for you. I try to put as much oats in as I possibly can. Like Belinda said, you want to just, the milk process, like almond milk, because I'm lactose intolerant, I usually drink almond milk. But you just wanted to moisten it up mostly. So
Grab a bowl over here.
I already put the oats in. I'm going to put some milk in, and then I'm going to put in some applesauce, okay?
And I'm going to make a mess.
Yeah, I'm going to make a mess, and it's fine. Just clean up after yourself. If you notice, I'm not putting a ton. I'm not going to, over, because you want the consistency to be a little, it's oatmeal. You want it to be a little thick. So, but, and I don't know if Belinda told you before, but she said you let it sit overnight for about 8 hours. And
Right.
you can heat it up in the morning, but I think you said yesterday, be careful with the glass. Not to
Yeah,
heat
just
it up.
because the glass
Yeah.
is going to be hot.
Yeah.
So these actually are fine. Take the plastic lid off of them if you're going to heat up your oats. You can eat them hot or eat them cold. I generally eat them cold. My husband eats them hot, so totally different taste there. These glass jars will actually get a little hot when you put them in the microwave, so be careful. Maybe not more than about 15 to 30 seconds at a time, so you don't overcook them. And then, whenever they're at the temperature that you want, then just kind of give them a little stir, and you can eat them. I like mine thicker, so I put more oats in mine. But if you like them thinner, you can add a little bit of milk. If you find that you've put too many oats the night before, then just add a little milk the next day. Or whatever liquid you had put in it before.
Yeah.
And everything goes in the fridge, right?
Everything
Goes in the fridge, always.
Because it has milk in it too. And if you notice, we put in applesauce. It's unsweetened applesauce. We just did that for you guys because we don't know what your sugar tolerance is. So if you want to make this and you like sweetened applesauce, because I like sweetened applesauce, I probably would do that. That's up to you. So now I'm putting the chopped walnuts and the dried cranberries in. And it's very simple. And I'm pretty sure the net cost of each of these are probably cheaper than the actual bottle itself. These are cheap, quick, easy meals to make. And I'm going to finish this up and then put it into the fridge, and then we can move on to the next one.